Drop.
Yeah, probably drop me.
Sirdam, we can drop him
Yeah,
and then we'll pick him back up in an hour. Let's follow up with Chijioke. Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Edeoga. Welcome to the Vawulence Space. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me loud and clear, sir?
Very clearly.
All right, then. Fantastic. Can you just tell us your name and pronounce your full name, sir?
My name is Chijioke Edeoga.
Fantastic. Please, where are you calling us from, or where are you right now? Can you hear me, Mr. Edeoga? Hello? Can anyone hear me, or am I just talking to myself?
I can hear you now.
All right, perfect. Okay, sir. So take the first 5 minutes, introduce yourself to the people, give us your academic qualifications, and just introduce yourself to the people basically in the first 5 minutes, and then we'll ask you questions.
Chijioke Edeoga. Chijioke Edeoga is the governorship candidate for Labour Party in Enugu State. Chijioke Edeoga is from Isuzo in Enugu State. I have 4 university degrees in various disciplines. I have an honors degree in English from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I have an honors degree in law from the University of Buckingham. I have a master's degree in public international law from the University of London. And I have an MSc in public administration from ESU Business School. Chijioke practiced journalism most of his adult life. And even now, he's a member of the editorial board of Daily Trust. I've also had a stint in legal practice with Awomolo and Co. SAN. I've also been in public life for quite some time. First, as Deputy Press Secretary to Dr. Okwesile's when he was governor, and then as elected chairman of issues of local governments for 14 months, member of National Assembly House of Reps from 1999 to 2003, where I was the House Committee Chairman on Information and also for the spokesman for National Assembly. I was also, for 4 years, the Special Assistant to Goodluck Jonathan on National Assembly matters. Thereafter, I came home to Enugu State and served for 4 years as Commissioner for Local Government and for 3 years as Commissioner for Environment, where I resigned from to run initially in PDP for the governorship. I was not elected in the primaries of the PDP, but I resigned from the PDP and joined Labour Party and got the governorship candidate and became the flag bearer of Labour Party and has made Labour Party the winning machine in Enugu State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. A very simple question I'm going to ask you, but I would like you to think about it very well before you answer. Why do you think you would be a good governor for Enugu State?
I will be a good governor because I have a cognate experience and I have the theoretical basis for governance. And I'm also grounded in essential values that gives leadership meaning. The values of integrity and character and empathy. I'm also have held important positions and have done enormously well in the eyes of objective assessors. So a combination of my experience in life, a combination of the theory I've had, a combination of the knowledge I have of how things can be improved tremendously in virtually all facets of our life in Enugu State gives me the sense that I will do well when I become governor. Thank you.
All right, sir. The same question I asked the Bayelsa candidates, what 5 problems have you identified in your state that you feel if you tackle these 5 at first, Enugu State would have gone a long way into solving most of her primary issues?
There are the problems, for instance, differ in communities. So what may be uppermost in the eyes or the other places, for instance, will not be what is important in one place. So you cannot just say, okay, these are the 5 problems. In one community, there are issues of health. Several communities, there is healthcare. Healthcare. In several communities, there is no light. Light is what is most important to those communities. In some other communities, is insecurity. Insecurity is a major nightmare to their lives. In some places, there is no water. In some places, there is no telecommunication. They are cut off from the world. In some other places, is road. So you cannot just say, okay, this is a 5 that is uppermost. In Enugu urban is water, water, environmental degradation, lack of the demands of one segment over another segment, issues of unemployment. There are issues of pension and gratuity. So it is segmented. Each segment has its own major issue. So if you take 5, it means you are going to reduce in importance the demands of a large segment of people. For some, pension and gratuity is an issue. For some, water is an issue. For some, telecom is an issue. For some, road is an issue. For some, healthcare is an issue. For some, insecurity is an issue. So just choose 5 is to act as if the other ones don't matter.
Let me use one. I went to University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Jimmy, I see your hand. You'll ask once I'm done with this one. I went to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, so I know the problems of Enugu State very well. One of the major problems of Enugu State, even down to the Enugu metropolis, is the issue of water. In 24 years of democracy, water in Enugu State has come to look like a sort of nuclear physics, rocket science. People still, I had a house in Transekulu, an apartment in Transekulu. I bought water every day for 4 years of my stay in Enugu. Even in UNN, I know that water is an issue in Nsukka as well. So, how would you handle the water problem of Enugu State? It's lasted at least 2 decades plus. What are your ideas? Jimmy, you can take it after he's done with this one.
Even when I was in the state executive council in the administration of the current governor, I had said clearly that Enugu needs to decentralize the source of water supply. Enugu is fixated on only a 1 pipe or 2 pipes or 3 pipes, whatever, taking water from Ajali, more than 15 or 20 kilometers from the town, drawing water from Ajali to Enugu is something that was okay when Enugu was just a small settlement around the GRA and the coal camp area. One single source of water supply for Enugu, piped from Ajali, is no longer enough. The Edeoga approach, the Edeoga solution is initially to decentralize the sources of water supply. Enugu is blessed with internal rivers. Enugu urban is blessed with lakes. There's Nike Lake, there's Opiagu Lake, and there are several rivers even within Enugu. Even within Enugu, there are several bodies of waters that are perennial, they are perpetual, they run all around the year, even in dry season. The Edeoga solution proposes to take waters from those rivers, treat them, and supply different communities that are adjacent or annexed or nearby or contiguous to those bodies of waters. In that case, you have, for instance, the Ekulu River becomes a source of water supply, pipe-borne water supply to the towns or communities that are adjacent to Ekulu River. What I'm proposing is not new, is not novel. It's based on what I noticed as a young boy growing up in a Hamufu, where there's a big river ringing our town. And the white men who built the railway quarters in Hamufu tapped water from the river, treated the water at the riverside, and then piped it about 2 or 3 kilometers away to a big overhead tank from where it was reticulated to serve railway quarters. Enugu has the problem that just beneath the soil, there's an enormous amount of coal. The entire Enugu city is layered by coal. So you cannot access water if you do boreholes, but you can access water because there are rivers that are around. So I'm going to decentralize. I'm going to de-emphasize Ajali as a source of water supply to Enugu. I'm going to use the nearby bodies of water, the lakes, the rivers, the other springs are abound. Number 2 solution is the one I will do short term. This one I'm proposing is long term. The short term one is to capture. There are several springs also within Enugu and around Enugu, even in Independence Layout, close to where there's NDLE office. There's a spring. Somewhere in Nike, around the timber shade in Enugu, there's also a body of water, a spring. Somewhere on the road to Neke, Enugu to Neke, just about 5 kilometers, there's a spring. So we propose to capture, to ring fence those places and make sure that water is harvested with the use of solar, not diesel again. These waters can run 24/7. We ring fence them, create access to those places, and put water corporation staff there and make sure that these waters are given out to vendors free of charge. What operates from the vendors in Enugu buy water for 30,000 from the 9th mile area because there's a body of water that is neat and fine. That is why Coca-Cola, MBL, all those other mineral drinks are located in 9th mile. We can access water from 9th mile. 9th mile is one of the only places you can access water from using borehole system. But there are other places around Enugu that cannot access water using borehole system. So the point is to ring fence those places and make those waters available free of charge to people of Enugu State, because the cost of delivering it will be minimal. Instead of using diesel, we're going to use solar to operate them. And then the government, the people who are there will be paid by the government. So if initially we are going to have these waters given to vendors free of charge, what it does is immediately bring down the cost of tankers of water from 30 to 40 or from 50,000, which is what obtains now, to FOC. If you buy it free of charge, if you get it free of charge, then I'm sure that the prices will go down, maybe to 3 or 4 or 5,000 naira. That is the first step. The second step is to begin to decentralize the water supply system. Use the rivers, use the lakes, use the springs as a source of water supply to adjacent communities, to nearby communities. Thank you, sir.
Sirdam, I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. I want to say, please, Enugu, obedience living in Enugu, please, this is more a space for you to come and ask questions. Governorship races are more local. It's local. So we don't have the insight to, thank God for Cecil. Cecil had experience because he went to UNN, but this particular session is for obedience in Enugu. Please come and ask questions. You know the problems in your state. You're familiar with your state. You can ascertain. Please DM me if you're from Enugu. I need to see proof so I can bring you up.
Yes, so and also you can post a comment. We already have about 34 people wanting to speak. That definitely might not be able to happen. So post a comment with your question, and I promise you there will come a time I won't ask questions from my side. We would ask questions you guys are interested in. I'll curate from the comments. So please post your questions now. Thank you. Continue.
Yeah, so that's why. So please let's this be sort of Enugu centric as much as we can, because we don't want to start asking broad governance questions. Because right now it's politics is local. Yeah, it's a local politics. It's Enugu politics. So Sirdam, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you,
Jimmy wanted to ask a question. Jimmy, go please.
Yeah. I just quickly want to ask him one question. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, good. So one of the major reasons why you're here is simply because we need to clear a lot of doubts. There's been up and down regarding your candidacy, and from other party to you being a Labour Party member. Okay, let me start by saying this. I heard your intro, and I heard how you explained the schools you went to, your educational background. If you check on the Jumbotron, I have a documentation of an FBI writing to EFCC to let them know that the so-called president-elect of the APC did not attend Chicago State University. Right. I will find out all the places you mentioned that you actually went to school, places you said you studied. Look, this is the obedient movement. We are not interested in money. We're not interested in politics. We are the bridge between the new Nigeria and the people coming into power right now. So we are not here to speak to you and maybe you get into power, you give us position. No, we've had a lot of people talking about other candidates that are better than you. But because you are under Labour Party, we have to scrutinize to know, because you see the 4 people tweeting in the room. This is one of the rooms, and whatever it is we say here, people you convince here are gonna be people that will pass this message across to the local level, that will pass this message across all boards to let people know that this man is credible. We'll get to a point whereby you have to give us your words. Caesar is going to handle that part. Because everything you say on this space, it's a recorded space. It's going to be used against you in the nearest future. We're here to make sure, henceforth, we've been bamboozled enough to let idiots take over power in our country. That's not going to happen again. So we thank you for creating time to come in here, to listen to us, and to answer questions. We really respect that. And at the end of the day, I'm sure you're not going to regret doing it, because the outcome of your presence here is going to determine the outcome of the election. For now, I don't have any questions for now, but I'll be listening in attentively. The university you said you went to, we'll do some background check about it. I'm happy that Otumba said they fact checked some of the things you said. We love it. Okay. The other day, was it this woman that came on People's Parliament? What's the name of this lady?
Beatrice Itubu. Beatrice Itubu,
You need
River
to
State.
know. Thank you very much. You need to listen to what people have said about this woman. But when she came on board, she spoke to us, and people knew a different part of, it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. I hope that's going to be, your own situation as well. Let me know you the mic. We have a lot of people. Enugu people, please come up. This is you facing the person that's going to be representing your state. You have to ask him these questions. Thank you very much. I yield for now.
Thank you, Jimmy. So, Ogami, I just want to show you that the ruthlessness we show our enemies is the same ruthlessness we put our candidates through. Your ticket is as well as automatic. But we have to be sure that we don't come back here in 2 years looking for how to recall you, or we don't come back here in 4 years embarrassed by your conduct in office. Your ticket, I repeat, is as good as automatic, no matter who is your opposition at this moment. So I'll go back to my questions for you. Enugu State is one state in this country that has one of the highest number of universities. A lot of people don't know this. There is UNN, there is UNEC, there is ESUT, there is IMT, and I don't know, with this influx of private universities, I bet there are 1 or 2 or 3 more private universities as well. But the irony is, cheap urban housing in Enugu continues to be a problem. It was a problem when I was studying there. It's still a problem now. with the young UNN graduates that I mentor, I've employed, and I still hear these stories. Enugu is also has a thriving young population, but you find out that a lot of the housing projects, especially of late, has been rather elitist. The same kind of things we have in Lagos: huge, bogus duplexes for families, most of them overpriced. What is your plan for affordable housing for one set of people? The high influx of students into Enugu, which need one type of housing, and also the growing mass population of young people in Enugu who are employed, can pay for cheaper housing, but cannot live in these houses that are being built 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and the likes. Please explain, sir.
Thank you, my dear brother. In asking the questions, you provided the answer. You say that the buildings are elitist. The buildings are elitist because we've had a leadership that has refused to respond to the evident yearnings of the people and evident needs of the people. There is no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that Enugu has become congested. Enugu has become congested. Enugu, as it is presently configured, has become far smaller than the people who need space. So the demand has overtaken supply. Demand has overtaken what is available. And what we need to do is not just urban renewal, but expansion. I live in Gwarimpa in Abuja. Gwarimpa is an example of what a good leader can do to reduce tremendously the pressure on existing facilities. Enugu has not gotten more in terms of living space, more than what Jimobodo did. It was Jimobodo who created Transekulu. It was leaders before Jimobodo that created Independence Layout and Achara Layout and New Layout. And so since then, we have had nothing that rivals what Jimobodo did. A mix, a residential place that is a mix of what services the very rich, the middle, and the lower class. So we are looking at expanding Enugu far beyond where it is now. How do we do that? What I have in mind is to dualize the Nike road that stretches to Ugogo and goes to Opi. That road, the entire space between Nike and Opi is vast and uninhabited. If we dualize that road and then engage and acquire lands both sides of the space and engage with the communities, then get people on a basis of PPP, we make available a large expanse of land that is far beyond the just cornering a few, like relocating the animals and building a place only the rich, which is what has happened under the previous government. So it is possible to do a massive allocation of space to private individuals, surveyors, builders, all sorts of entrepreneurs, and then allowed and insist that it must be a mix of 1 room, 2 rooms, duplexes, and all that. That's what all we need to do is to give them the space and make sure that all the fees and levies that they ought to pay are reduced. From beyond, just close to Transekulu, is another vast land, space, uninhabited, that stretches up to where you call Abo. That place is also yearning for expansion. So the answer to your question is that we're going to open up Enugu with a consciousness to make housing available, create facilities and infrastructure that is necessary for new settlements to grow and thrive. Transekulu, which was built by Jimobodo, is evidence that a leader who is focused on solving the housing problems of a people can do more than has been done in the past 20 years or thereabouts. That's my thinking for now.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's move on to the issue of security. Enugu is one place where we had a Senate candidate killed and burnt to death. Enugu, when the Obide movement started, was the first place where we saw videos of men on bikes coming to scatter a Labour Party meeting, if you remember very well. It was one of our first instances of violence, and violence has only continued to escalate in Enugu. Now, I want to link the violence to one thing. It was a pandemic that started in the early 2000s when I was doing my university there, which is cultism amongst the young men. It's a triplet evil: unemployment, cultism, and violence. I want to ask you, sir, what are your plans to curb insecurity in Enugu State? Back in the day, it was not so bad. You could go to, there was a nightclub called Springfellows. I don't know if it still exists. You could go clubbing all night and things like that. But the cultism was rising. And I remember in about 2003, somebody shot a gun in the middle of the nightclub because someone took his girlfriend. And I was like, okay, it's rubbing off into insecurity. By the time I was graduating, it was full-blown robbery. In Soka, you had to be in from dark and all of that. What do you have plans to do by way of security, stopping the cultism issue, and then unemployment, especially of young men in Enugu State, sir?
You have thank you. Your analytical power is obvious and appreciable. You have also provided some of the answers, but they are diverse. Unemployment is one, cultism is one, the opening of our borders, the opening of our national borders in the ways that several persons who are not Nigerians entered and are domiciled in our forests are one. The state of the nature of our security apparatus, both national and state, is one. So the approach must be diverse. One must be a multiple perspective thinker and actor to begin to address those problems. For instance, one, there's also leadership. If you have a leader, for instance, who indulges or who cavots, or who appoints known cultists into government and romanticizes those cultists and treats them indulges them. You have for instance, a governor who talks about Black Acts and Aye and all those kind of funny names with glee and with joy. What you are trying to do is to create those people as model. If one is appointed, for instance, as chairman of local government, one board or the other, on the basis of recommendation from cultists who are no longer in school, that leader is creating the impression that that is the way to power, and that route to power may be commendable. So, the Edeoga government or the Edeoga as governor will lead by example. I will not romanticize Black acts. I will not romanticize cultists. The Edeoga governor will collaborate with the national security infrastructure, for instance, the police, in finding out how we can meet them some of their logistic shortcomings. The Edeoga government is also going to strengthen our local policing mechanism. Enugu State has forest guards. Enugu State has vigilantes and other kind of approved policing structure. But these persons are underpaid, undertrained, and not fully ideologically mobilized. So I'm going to give them tenure. I'm going to give them a service, what you can call a service commission that regulates employment, promotion, and deployment, and gives them proper training that enables them to do their job effectively, so that intelligence and monitoring and apprehension and punishment follow without interruption. We are also going to look carefully at the employment situation. The unemployment situation of our youth, our young girls and young boys, worries me tremendously. And immediately I become governor, I'm going to address those issues from several directions. I know that Enugu State has continued to participate in the deindustrialization of the state, because several taxes, illegal taxes, multiple taxes are imposed by all kinds of actors in Enugu State, and there's no punishment. This has led to the movements of industries away from Enugu State to Anambra State. Innoson has reduced his involvement. Many people who have like to participate in Enugu State environment have left because taxes are multiplied by all sorts of actors. Many of them wielding sticks. Many of them carrying all sorts of dangerous weapons. So I'm going to make sure that such illegal taxes, such multiple taxes, even if by government agencies, are reduced or minimized or merged in such a way that clearly Enugu becomes friendly to businesses. I'm also going to move actively, quickly in the area of asking, collaborating, begging, pleading with those people who are industrialists, who ordinarily would like to be in Enugu but are worried about the reluctance of government to help them. I'm going to beg with them, plead with them, give them the necessary space, the necessary support, so that industrialists will come back to Enugu. I'm also going to make sure that the ease of doing business situation is addressed considerably, so that taxes, legal system, and any other obstacle to ease of doing business in Enugu is minimized to the utmost. We're also going to encourage Nollywood. Enugu used to be a hub of Nollywood. Nollywood people have relocated because government did not see Nollywood as a veritable partnership in the growth of Enugu State, in the development of Enugu State. So I'm going to help sure that Nollywood comes back. Nollywood comes with several values: employment in the costume industry, in the lighting industry, in the acting industry, the major actors, the what you call the spare actors. I don't get the name immediately, but it's a large business of its own. I'm also going to make sure that the issue of electricity, the problem of electricity is solved. EDC is owned by an Igbo man, but we have several challenges. In fact, all over Southeast, about regulation of the light that we have, about quarrels with people, about overbilling. So we are going to institute the necessary mechanism that makes sure that several hubs in 9 Mile, in Nsukka, in Enugu are properly serviced with lights. And in fact, there's lights everywhere in Enugu State, so that businesses, small businesses, sewing machine, tailoring, cobblers, whatever, welders can do their business 247. We're also going to engage vigorously in lighting up Enugu.
Sweet angel, God bless you. Thank you.
We're all obedience. Hello, sir. How are you? How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Fine. Yeah, yes,
All right.
thank you. I can hear you very
Okay.
well. Loud and clear.
Cool. Okay. I am 042 1042. I'm very passionate about Enugu because I school there. I passionately live in Independence Layout by Brown and Brown. The Enugu we used to know.
I know Brown and Brown. Brown and Brown Event Center.
Yes, behind Brown and Brown.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So the Enugu we once know, the coal city we once knew, is no more. And from all you have said, like politicians say, they make big promises, everything you've been saying, we will want to see that come to life. But the thing is, you have not disassociated yourself with this administration that you're in. A lot of people say that Enugu has been dirty, very, very dirty, because you were in this government, you know, and Enugu has all the mess littered the whole street. That's number one. Please, you have to clarify on that and what you're going to do about that. Number two is, how are you going to put women in your cabinet? I haven't heard you say you're going to include women in your cabinet, because when you empower women, you're going to get a thriving economy, a good state. They will see to the affairs of women and children in our coal city, and the health for everybody, health care. Enugu is a state where civil servants, they retire. There is no industry there. So the young boys and young girls, those who graduated, what are you going to do? And this crime, people on bikes, stealing and killing, I want you to talk about it.
My sister, please, let's try and keep it
Then I
question.
like 5 questions, even me with the
Just
Okay, sorry.
because I'm tired of my
crime,
interview, so I don't know where I'm
I'm
people
so
on
passionate
bikes,
about
disassociate yourself. You don't read like 6.
it. No verse. And
going.
then the
Please.
last one, which he mentioned.
One more.
No verse, no verse.
Oka for one, oka for.
Okay. If you're going to reorientate the police force, we know that they're all corrupt. Once you become the governor, what changes are you going to do with the police force? Because they need reorientation. They need the police stations to be up and doing with computers to impute crime data, like have data up to date where people.
Is it me?
It's not you, brother. Probably got a call. All right then. Ogami, I don't know if you are.
Let him just answer
Yes,
the
yes,
ones that he
fantastic.
asked.
Were you writing those down, sir?
I'm done. He can answer now. Thank
Okay,
you.
fantastic. Did you write
Okay,
all of
thank
that down?
you. Yes, they are in my head.
Fantastic. Continue, sir.
She thought I should have dissociated myself from the government. I'm running on a Labour Party platform. There's the PDP government in place, and we are planning to remove them. And I've told the world what I'm going to do differently. So I think for now that should be sufficient. The environment issues he brought in, maybe as a way of implying that was Commissioner for Environment and the place is dirty. When you become a commissioner, you are given your mandate. You are clearly itemized. What is your mandate as commissioner? When I was Commissioner for Environment, and even now, the function of the Commissioner for Environment does not include waste disposal. There's a body created by law, NSWAMA. NSWAMA is the body charged by law in Enugu State to evacuate waste, to manage waste. When I become governor, I'm going to reinvigorate. Because what happens now is that even NSWAMA, that is charged by law and has the necessary mechanisms within its enclosure, for instance, the vehicles, institutional memory in terms of personnel, NSWAMA is being sidelined in Enugu State. The management of waste, the evacuation of waste, disposal of waste in Enugu State is controlled directly from Government House by the Chief of Staff, the Office of Chief of Staff, Mr. Festus Suzo. And he does that in conjunction with about 8 other persons. One of them is Honorable Nwoye, Tony Nwoye, and a few other persons. One of them, I cannot remember their names down. There are the people who manage the evacuation of waste in Enugu. The payment is made directly from government house, and I can say clearly that no commissioner for environment before me has been charged with managing waste. So when I become governor, I'm going to make sure that SWMA is properly reinvigorated, because that is where the institutional memory, that is where the knowledge, that is where the capacity to evacuate waste inheres. There are several vehicles parked there. They're not being used. Some of them are damaged, just needing minor repair. So, but they're not put in use. So the personnel that is trained to evacuate waste is abound in Enugu State, but they're not being used. The machines that were purchased purposely to evacuate waste in Enugu State are not being used. So I'm going to, as a first step, reinvigorate SWAMA. I am also going to make sure that the right personnel are put in place. When Mrs. Anajemba, for instance, was appointed the head of SWAMA in Enugu State, there was universal uproar, in the sense that, and rightly so, because she had no track record of performance in that industry. She was a notable hotelier, but that hotelier business does not translate to expertise in environmental management. So I'm going to look for the right person to head the SWAMA agency and charge them with the responsibility of immediately making Enugu State look neat again. Under Sullivan, Enugu State looked neat because the right personnel were deployed, and the governor himself was minded about the neatness of the place and gave marching orders. And also, some regulations were put in place with regards to environmental waste management. One of which is that timing. There must be a time which all waste should be brought together, and within that time they will be evacuated. Now, this time that one does not operate again, and people bring in willingly. We're also going to respond proactively to the expansion of Enugu, because once those problems began all over Nigeria, especially insecurity, there was a large movement on planned movement, you say, into Enugu urban, and so the evacuation, the waste that was being generated, has stripped the capacity of government to evacuate those wastes. And then the major landmine, or what, the major place of deposit for the proper phrase has escaped my mind now, but the major place where waste were disposed in Enugu, just one place in Obia, in a Enugu South area, government converted it to a residential place, and so there's no place for disposal of waste in Enugu State. And then that's what has also created a problem, because every waste in Enugu urban were channeled to the Onyama Road area, the Federal Express, and also those things were banned. The international situation in regards to environmental to waste disposal does not accept that waste should be burnt. It's dangerous. Dangerous acids in the process put out into the atmosphere, and it has created a permanent gloom around that area. When I was commissioner for local government, I sensed there was a need to decentralize waste management. I quickly moved to create a bylaw. I got the Ministry of Justice to create a bylaw that decentralized waste management, that made waste management the responsibility of local councils. But that idea did not receive the approval of the governor. When I was commissioner for environment, I know that I went to the governor and complained about the nature of the deteriorating nature of our environment, and the governor told me that his emphasis was on rural roads. That rather that he would prefer to put more money on rural roads than on environmental and waste management. So when I become governor, I'm going to focus with a laser beam on immediate evacuation of waste in Enugu State. We're also going to locate land sites, they call it, where those wastes will be evacuated. We're also going to accelerate the training of residents to isolate waste, because everything is just dumped into one carton. Bottles, broken bottles, plastics, papers, everything that should be disaggregated in Enugu State, even in Nigeria, are dumped into one pattern. So it makes the segregation of waste difficult. It makes waste recycling difficult. We're also going to have waste officers who are responsible for sanitation. Before, immediately after the war, there were sanitary officers who go around making sure that everything is prim and proper. We're also going to create waste courts, sanitation courts, make them mobile. When I was Commissioner for Environment, I revived the environmental court in Enugu State, only one within the Ministry of Environment, to address issues of nuisance mainly. But we are going to have mobile courts, mobile sanitation courts, to make sure that persons who abuse the environment, who drop things from vehicles, from baby kepe. If you live in Enugu or move around, you see persons who, after eating their takeaway foods in their kake, gleefully, casually drop the waste on the main road. Nobody stops them. Nobody punishes them. Maybe they don't even know that what they are doing is not right, because the urban space it becomes home to even those who inhabit the 19th century and those who inhabit the 21st century in terms of attitudes and values. So, which means that orientation and reorientation, and information and teaching on radio and using other media should become a veritable source of waste management. People must know that we don't have to live like animals. You must not live like animals. The idea of people even keeping the environment clean must come back, and this we have to do by putting out several sanitation officers or environmental health officers to go around and make sure that people keep their places clean. And when these wastes are assembled, there must be places where they are dumped. And those places where they are dumped can also be a veritable source for the appropriation of several materials that should be recycled. When I was Commissioner for Environment, I encouraged waste packers, I encouraged young boys to set up waste recycling businesses, and some of them is thriving. One of them is located in ShopRite area. I encouraged them, supported them. I also encouraged the Association of Waste Packers. But the thing is that even in Enugu State here, there is no big place where waste are recycled. Everything is packed and taken to Lagos. So I'm going to encourage our young people. I'm going to encourage our entrepreneurs to come home to Enugu and establish waste recycling businesses. I'll support them with infrastructure. I'll support them with land. I'll support them with necessary facilities to make sure that several waste recycling businesses thrive. I'm also going to decentralize waste management, waste collection and waste management in Enugu State, so that local governments are charged with responsibility. Really, waste management is a function of the local government by constitution, and the states appropriate them, maybe because of monetary reasons. So she also asked about women empowerment. I'm fully conscious of the women issue, both as a journalist and a scholar of women engagement, women involvement over history. The Beijing position of women, what the law says about gender equity in Nigeria. As a scholar of public human rights international law, I'm also minded that women must be carried along for society to be fully fully functional. Women are also sources, even in philosophy and in religion and in biology. Women are necessary and vital. I respect women. I adore them, and we are going to make sure that they are accommodated, even as regards within what the law says. The law gives a specific percentage of women that can be what they should be, what they should have in government. My government will look at the laws, and be compliant with what the law says, and even go beyond. But the tune is not really to focus on women. If you create a good society, everybody will thrive. They will survive. If you create hospitals that are nice, that are okay, women will also thrive. So we're going to create an environment where people are allowed to attain their potentialities. We're also going to look at what the law says, what the international conventions say, what the national laws say, what the local laws say, about the place of women, about the place of youth, about the place of young girls in every situation, and apply
Excuse me,
them
sir. How many
accordingly.
percentage of women, you're on a recorded space, how many percentage of women would you be giving would you be giving positions in your cabinet, and how many percentage of youth, putting youth at an age between 35 downwards to about 2021? Can you commit to an answer here?
What I'm going to do, I promise you, is to look at what the law says. I don't have exactly the percentage in my head, but I'll be guided by what the law says. There are laws on what percentage of women should be accommodated at any point in time. I don't have it in my head, but I'll be guided by what the laws passed by our parliaments, both at Abuja and maybe in Enugu. I'll be guided and I'll follow it religiously. And also try to support what the law says. So if you just do what the law says, it means you're just being minimalistic. But I appreciate that women are a strong breed. I appreciate the role of
Excuse
women
me,
as
sir. I
mobilized.
can help you with what the law says.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? A quick Google search will show you
yeah,
that the court ordered the Nigerian government in April 6th of 2022 under the affirmative
yes,
action to implement
yes,
national gender policy, which provides for the allocation of 35% of all appointments to women. A federal high court in Abuja said this, and they ordered the federal government to enforce the national gender policy by allotting 35% of appointments in the public sector to women. All right. So you're already at least at 35%. Do you approve of that, yes or no?
within the Enugu situation, I will try to apply the law.
Thank you very much. That's as good as an answer I'll work with. Somebody here,
Okay.
Savik.
Hello.
Savik, you can go up
Yeah.
next, sir.
Thank you so much, Sizu, and thank you so much, the honorable that is here with us, the governorship candidate for Labour Party in Enugu State. My own is one of the reasons why some of us are rooting for you is just because that you had the foresight of joining Labour Party, right? And we are looking at Labour Party as a party that is going to drive that change that we require in Nigeria at the moment. And we need to begin to build people around that our principal's foresight and what he plans for Nigeria. So I want you to kind of give us your word, because one of the reasons why a lot of us are dear to Peter Obi is because of what he achieved in Anambra State, because of the person he is, because of his empathy, because of he is someone that has conquered greed. So I want you to give everybody listening to you right now your word to tell us that you are going to look at Peter Obi's antecedents, what he has achieved in Anambra State and every space of life that he has worked in, both in private sector when he was in banking and when he was in in some of other businesses that he has done, and tell us here that you are going to be guided by those antecedents and that you are going to conduct your affairs as a governor, because we know you are going to win. We know you are going to win. But we want you to tell us that the antecedent of P2B, the new Nigeria that we are actually rooting for, that you are going to be an exemplary for that. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear brother. Peter Obi is a role model. He did tremendously well in Anambra State. I like the fact that he did not allocate not one single government land to himself. He did not allocate not even one single government building to himself. When you compare him to Enugu State, where Sullivan Chime converted the biggest estate that belongs to Enugu State to himself, you will see that he's exemplary. Peter Obi left a huge amount of money $75 million or something like that for the government that
Naira, sir.
succeeded him.
75 billion naira, sir.
Is it bill? I mean, I thought it was $1 million.
75
Billion naira.
naira. Billion naira, sir.
75 billion naira and over 100 and something $million.
Over 100. I thought it was $75 million. Okay, over substantial amount of money he left for the government that succeeded him. Compare him to Sullivan Chime, who left a huge amount of debt for the government that succeeded him. In all ramifications, P2B is exemplary. Even in private business, where he rose to the top, and in government, where he made indelible marks. I think he adopted the SDG, or I think the SDG as his guiding principle. So there was always issues of high standards, ethics, and ethically, a man of integrity, and he fended off the what you call the Godfathers. He was also parsimonious in government. He was not flamboyant. He didn't ride a lot of vehicles. When he entered the plane, he carried his own bag and sat in economy and did very well, using all indicators factored in. Edeoga has a similar record of performance in everywhere he has done. I was elected chairman of issues of local government, my home LGA, in 1997. In the 14 months I was chairman, I did things that remain unforgettable. For instance, I met 9 months of arrears of salaries. I wiped out those arrears of salaries. At the same time, I continued paying the salaries of the that came up in the 14 months I was there. So not only did I pay 14 months of salaries, I wiped out the arrears of salaries that were there before I came. In the 14 months that I was chairman, I started and completed a major installation of lights, poles and lights in my community, which is the biggest community in the whole of East Uzo. As I was paying the salary of staff, I was also deducting money to pay to REB on a monthly arrangement. In the 14 months of my chairmanship of East Uzo, I started and completed a daily market. Before I became chairman, a Hamufu, which is the major town in East Uzo, was serviced only every 4 days. They will come alive on a K day. After that, that town will go to sleep. In 14 months, I started a daily market, and completed it. Properly designed by an architect and fully built and fully lit up. In 14 months, I started a 25-kilometer road from Nkalago to Ihamufu. Before then, the road was completely closed to traffic, and people going to Ihamufu found the traffic difficult to navigate. And students going to the federal school there found it difficult to go to school. They resorted to using Okada. In 14 months, I did that 25-kilometer road. And the provost of that college, late Nadozie, wrote me a letter, which I still have now. He said, Edeoga, in all my life, I've never met somebody like you, who says he will do something and he did it. The staff of the college is happy with you. The students are happy with you. The management is happy with you. In 14 months, I started under more than 15 kilometers of road. What was a track road became a major road that linked Neke to Ehandiagu, to what we call a Halomona on the Federal Express. The Halomona is somewhere around UNN. So I linked my community issues, my LGA, to under issues. Ehandiagu and the Halomona are both in Soka local government. Meanwhile, my LGA is issues. So I opened a track record that connected 2 communities in 2 LGAs. On the basis of that, Chief Abangu, who was a foremost political leader in the Soka zone, crowned me the Onwan Etira, the moon that shines for all, if a Halmona. When I was chairman, I met a rickety 504 wagon as the official car, as what was available in that space. All the other chairmen in that time, all of them, all my colleagues opted to buy a brand new 504 from somewhere in Zik Avenue. I'm the only chairman out of that 17 who refused to buy a brand new 504. Not only did they buy that brand new 504, the proprietor of that business gave each chairman the sum of 250,000 naira as kickback. I rejected that 250,000. I didn't buy a new 504. I rather plowed that money into development of my local government. I had to resort to a 504 that I bought at the cost of 250,000 second hand when the wagon could not take me any further. I collaborated fully with the Carter Center in making sure that Guinea worm, which was endemic in issues, was eliminated under my watch as chairman. I served only for 14 months, and if I continue now, I will not remember. I cannot count everything I did. I went to the House of Representatives. I became the spokesman for National Assembly. Before I went there was nothing like the spokesman for National Assembly. And that spokesman came with risks because it was Obasanjo's presidency. And the spokesman for that NABA parliament meant that I was going to be at loggerheads with Obasanjo. But Obasanjo probed me, checked my background, and if there was anything that was untoward, Obasanjo would have dealt with me. And there was nothing, and I fought him, that dictatorship, that era. I also brought to my community, the community that was not going to have light. I gave them light. Umairo was inaccessible and difficult and remote. Part of my constituency project was electricity, complete electrification of Umairo. I'm ascetic like Peter Obi. I am not flamboyant like Peter Obi. I can also account for. In fact, it's known in Enugu State that Edeoga has no watches. Edeoga has no money, and I've lived virtually all my life in public service, in public eye. So Peter Obi is a major star, but there are other small Peter Obis in Nigeria. I think it is this aggregation of these small Peter Obis that have made the obedient movement a force that it has become. In Enugu State, people know me as somebody who is a small Peter Obi in Enugu State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, I just want to ask you a quick question. If you could give me the answer in just one sentence, sir. Do you have a godfather?
God in heaven is my godfather.
Thank you very much. All right, let's move on real quick. Dr. Viva.
Sorry, I've been here for a while.
Hello, good evening. Yes.
Please let your questions be as direct and short as possible. Thank you.
Okay. Well done, sir.
Good evening, sir. We're very happy to have you here. I feel it takes a lot.
Hello?
Sorry, Tony, it's not your time. Dr. Viva, after Dr. Viva, we'll come back to you, Tony. Dr. Viva, go ahead.
Dr. Viva, go on, please.
Okay. Honorable Chijioke, well done for all the questions you've answered. I have very few questions on the health system of Enugu State.
Just one question, please. Go ahead. Just one question. Thank you.
Okay. I actually have a lot of questions, but let me just summarize.
You can ask him the most important question because we have
all of them are very important.
Find the most important for you, please. We have a whole lot of ask questions. And please, if you could circle down your questions, not questions that we have asked or people have asked before. So let's try and narrow down the whole conversation quick. Thank you very much.
All right. So I trained in Enugu State, in Parkland, Enugu State College of Medicine. So I understand the health system of Enugu State, and I understand the challenges. One of the major challenges is, number one, we've gone back from maternal and child health, from where Sullivan set us. During Sullivan's era, maternal during childbirth, that's maternal health, it was free, but it's no longer like that. That's one. So please, what are you going to do in that era? Then the second one is primary health care. Primary health care is the health care that assesses the health system, how well the health system of any place, any state, or any locality, or any nation is doing. And our own is in shambles. Primary health care, I mean the health centers in the villages. The government, they don't even care at all, at all. Some of the health centers in the villages, some of them don't even have HU. Some of them don't even have registered nurses. So the people there, people in those localities are suffering. Some of those health centers, if you go there, you cannot even see paracetamol. Some of them are in very bad state. So this is not about the general health, these hospitals in town. So the second one is, what are your plans towards polishing our primary health care? This third one is, before during,
Dr. Viva,
please, please, this one is very, very important. Please,
you can ask that one first, Dr. Viva.
please, this third one is very important. Please, I'm begging. That there is a building opposite, along opposite what's the name of this church? All Saints. That church, that building during Sullivan's era, that building was built when I was a medical student. Our provost told us that the aim of that building was to be the diagnostic center of Enugu State. Because if you come to Parkland, which is the state teaching hospital, we don't have any diagnostic machine like CT scan, even X-ray was not functioning then, and up till now it's not functioning. The ultrasound was just one machine. So things were so bad. So the Enugu State teaching hospital was hoping, that Sparkling was hoping, that when that diagnostic center comes, that we can have machines like MRI, CT scan that will be subsidized for patients, because these things are extremely expensive and some people cannot really afford it. But guess what? When the last governor came, he converted that diagnostic center. Instead of him to put the equipment, he converted it to Photoshop. It's only photo shoots they do there, and
Please,
the aim of that
question,
place.
please, question.
Okay, so I want to ask, please, what is your plan towards that idea of a diagnostic center for Enugu? A diagnostic center that could serve the purpose of subsidizing tests like CT scan, MRI, all these tests that are very, very expensive that patients cannot even really afford. Some patients cannot afford this. So what are your plans? Generally, what is your plan towards health? But these three ones, they are very important to me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Chijioke, please, you can go on, please. Thank you.
Sirdam, hold on. Mr. Chijioke, before you go ahead, please, guys, look, one question per person, I beg. Because if you do three, someone else too will come and claim that one person don't do three, they won't do three. Please, one question per person, I beg. Thank you. You can go ahead now, sir. Thank you.
Okay, let me go from the particular to the universal. She mentioned the diagnostic center. I think the problem is really that of focus. Because when I was in the ESCO of the current governor of Enugu State, the issue of that center came up severally. I think part of the problem was that several machines that were outdated, I think, were imported by the civil government, and they were not going to be functional. Before they even came home, they were already bad, and there are issues of cost and all that. So we wondered exactly how to put that place into use. If the government takes it over, it will still just become under government's property that will not function. I think at a point we advertised internationally for a group that will come and manage it. Eventually, when that major illness came, COVID came, it was used as a COVID center. Shortly before I left government, I think one of the federal agencies under OGI, this national agency that is involved in infrastructure, OGI, took it over. They handed it to a federal agency. I don't know how far that thing is gone, but I know that if for instance, leadership is focused on getting things done immediately and fast, all those rigmarole would have gone. Of course, we need a diagnostic center. I had to become very ill in Enugu State for me to realize that Enugu State does not have a very good. The healthcare system in Enugu is abysmal, and the major key to recovering health or to even assessing one's health situation is the diagnosis. So, but that diagnostic center maybe, most likely, if I become governor or when I become governor, will be handed over to a private person, a PPP person. It will be handed over on a PPP basis so that people have the expertise or the knowledge and resources will come and partner with the government. Maybe with the government providing us that space and the person taking it over to run, because we are going to try to reduce the burden on government because things are not getting any better in terms of finances. So we are going to look for somebody who has the competence, who has the resources, or the franchise to do a very good center. Then the private health situation in Enugu is horrible. It's something that worries me every day. I've even had to go to all those hospitals, take pictures and circulate them. I've even had to organize look at the literature available. The problem is even nationwide. I think either Son or one other paper not too long ago did a national survey of the primary health situations. Many of them are as bad as Enugu State is. I'm not making any excuses, but what I'm going to do is to create model health. No, those primary health centers ideally are even under the supervision of the local government systems. But there's a mixture, a problem. The state government is involved, the LGAs are involved. So we're going to streamline things. We're going to make sure, for instance, that we put them squarely under the authority of local government council chairman or local government. Once you would resolve the issue of the ambiguity about who owns it and who controls it, part of the problem will resolve. In that way, the governor or the commissioner for local government can have proper oversight on, or commissioner can have proper oversight over what happens there. But the governor himself, providing leadership, must insist that the environment first of those primary health centers become what any reasonable person can identify with. The environment of all of them are in a sorry state. So we are going to create model centers and then ask the administrators to begin to build those primary health centers in line with those models. We are going to make sure that the environments are neat. The houses are there, the structure is big, but the environment is very dirty. Inside, there are no beds, there are no nurses. Nurses are attached to those hospitals, but they don't go to work and nobody monitors them. Even when they go to work, there are no resources. There is no beds. There are no hospitals. There's nothing to work with. So we are going to make sure that those places are made habitable, and they look good. We are going to work on the environment, the outer environment. We are going to work on the inside environment, provide beds, provide all the necessary things that make hospital worthwhile. Then we'll supply medicine. We also make sure, insist through monitoring and by punishment, that those who don't come to work are smoked out and punished. And those who are dedicated may be drawn from the communities where those hospitals are located, are given pride of place. But perhaps the important thing is to check and check and check so that absenteeisms are detected and punished. We're also going to make sure or insist that the money is generated. Part of the problem is money. Under Ifeanyi administration, all the monies that are collected, received from hospitals, are taken up to the center. So nothing is left for those hospitals to run themselves. So we're going to make sure that the monies generated through the payments made for cards are retained. Some of them are retained in hospitals to help to run the place, so that rudimentary things that needs to be done in hospitals are done from money that is generated. So we are going to post staff who come from those areas. We are going to make sure that staff are going to go to work. We are also going to make sure that the environment is clean and hospitable and are properly maintained. But in order to do that, we cannot do the whole everything once. We take them one by one. It will take time, but once we start all over the 17 LGAs, give the council chairman money, marching orders, follow up on by checking out that those things are followed, then work out arrangements to make those places really full hospitals, because many of them, they don't have laboratories. Many of them, there are no pharmacies. So we're going to make arrangements to incorporate laboratories and pharmacies in those places to make them full hospitals. Maternal health care, those who can pay will pay. Those who cannot pay will be subsidized. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Mr. Tony Cole.
Hello. Minister.
Please,
Okay.
if you're not called, please do not omit. Please, I'm going to get to you, please. Thank you, Mr. Tony. Go on.
Hello.
Tony, are you there?
Oh, sorry. You mean, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Emir Sirdam. Thank you, sir, Mr. Chijioke. We're very happy that you're here and you're engaging us, and that's what we need in this era where leaders can engage citizens and we're able to pour out our mind and what we need. Now, I'm going to be very quick because of others. It's a very, very popular saying that Southeasterners or the Igbos are not united. And whenever I hear that, I tell people, I say, it's not the Igbos that are not united, it's our leaders that are not united. And you can see, if you do a little bit of research from the way we vote, you see we vote in block and we vote who we want to vote. But our leaders are not. Can you hear me? I don't know if.
Yeah, go on, please.
Okay.
I'm following you.
Question, please.
Yes. So our leaders are the ones who are not united, and we could see that even in this election that happened some days ago. Now, to my question, if you notice, during the last 7 years of this administration and even other administrations, the Southeasterners have been, pushed aside. There's no big or key federal investment in the Southeast. There's no key infrastructure. Even the roads are bad. And the big issues we have, like erosions and all that, they're not being handled by the government. I don't want to go. I don't want to take our time and just. I want to go straight to my question, so I don't take our time. Now, a key thing in this administration would be lobbying. Knowing the kind of president we're going to have, Mr. P2B, he's a national kind of president. He's not an ethnic kind of president. So he would want to be fair to everyone at the same time. But my question to you now is, if you get elected as a governor of Enugu State, what will you do together with your other fellow brother governors to lobby and request for key infrastructures, things like seaports, to be built in the Southeast, being that lots of Southeasterners are into importing and exporting, and we need these seaports in our place. It's a lot of sacrifice we've made over the years, where we have to go to other regions, and we are even threatened in those regions that, you know what, if you do this or do that, we'll kick you out and you have no place to get your goods or send your goods. When would we have a seaport in Southeast? Because I know our principal was talking about building one in the South, which is a good idea because, he has a nationalistic kind of plan. But what would you do with your fellow brother governors to unite together and lobby the president, Peter Obi, and request for things like seaports and other key infrastructures? And lastly, because
Bro, please, just
okay.
one, please.
Yeah, way.
Please.
Okay.
There are hundreds of questions to ask him. Please, let's take it one by one. Sir, please, can answer the question. Thank you.
Yeah. Seaports. I think the closest we can get, if we are going to do a Southeast seaport, is maybe through Oguta, or maybe dredge the River Niger, which must have several ecological implications. But if we open up rivers, the other one in River State, open up Calabar, even Warri, the thing is really to decentralize and allow seaports to thrive in other parts of Nigeria. You don't really need to lobby for what is a necessary part of national development. The crying need, the need for seaports in Calabar, for instance, in Rivers State, for instance, have become the matter speaks for themselves. So it's become obvious that they are being frustrated for reasons that are not even nationalist reasons. But so it's leadership. If a national leader emerges who thinks national, who thinks developmental, who thinks inclusiveness, who knows that there's need to multiply the centers of activity in Nigeria for national cohesion and growth, one does not need to lobby for all those things. If once a good leader emerges, automatically he will look for the things that will galvanize national development, that will spread joy and happiness, and then give each segment of the country its due. But that is not to say that we will not speak up for those things. Even as ordinary citizen of Nigeria, I've spoken up about Calabar. I've written about Calabar and other things that needs to be done. So, but what you're asking is for whether we are going to collaborate, work together with other governors. Yes, I will try. I will push for a collaboration, not only with the governors of the Southeast, but even with the governors of Eastern Nigeria. I'm enamored tremendously about the idea of Eastern Nigeria. So we are going to make sure that we spread out our hands of fellowship to colleague governors in the Southeast, and then because there are several things we need to collaborate even amongst ourselves, open up interstate roads, open up interstate markets, and other centers, other areas of commerce. Work together on security. We need to work together on security. We need to work together on interstate collaboration, interstate roads, and roads that are touch our region as Southeast. So I commit myself to doing everything possible that I work with the emergent new governors who are emerging, even those who are reluctant, because what I understand that happens is that people there's a tussle for leadership, and there's an ego trip. Where will the meeting hold? Who will chair it? These things tend to sublimate the essential service that we ought to render to our people for national growth. So I commit myself to working with broader governors to make sure that the interests of the Igbo people or the interests of the Southeast are served at utmostly, especially with regards to security and infrastructure. I will also extend it beyond to the South-South region, so that the idea of Eastern Nigeria, that was once the fastest growing economy in the world, is revived again, and then other benefits that accrue therefrom. I'm a student of federalism. I know what it means that how federalism cooperates. Cooperative federalism we call it. So we are going to work together to
All right.
collaborate with others. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's move on real quick, please, as short as possible. And under his structure. Under what you're there, please. Good evening.
Please, so
Hello.
can I ask my question? I've been here for a long time.
Sir, please, you should be patient. People have been here before you, sir. Please, I need to reach you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sirdam. My brother Cecil, my brother Utumba, Jimmy, magnific dude, the most respected
My
elder
sister, please, and just
spaceman.
forget all this thing, and please, and just go
All
straight to the
protocols observed.
Okay,
just
all
all protocols,
protocols
please.
observed.
We love
Please, I want to ask a question, as has been directed by our most elder and emir, Professor Sirdam, one person. But before I ask my question, I just want to chip in something on the health sector. So, when you answered your question on health sector, and this is not to disrespect you or to belittle you, but
My sister,
being somebody
please,
on the
please, 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 just ask question, please. And we have over 100 people that want to ask questions. Please,
79
please,
people have requests.
okay.
Please,
please.
your question
Just go straight to
immediately.
your question. Whatever I want to tell him, go to his comment section and tell him, sir, I did not understand this. I do not. Please, just buttress that on his comment section. And please, right now, straight to the questions, please. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, my question is what prompted you to leave PDP to Labour Party, and why did you have to wait until you lose your seat in PDP before you go into Labour Party? And I hope that you are not coming to use Labour Party as a shelter
to gain your way into the house, into the state house as the governor? And are you sure you are willing and ready to uphold the rules and regulations that guides Labour Party, and you will be able to deal with the obedience who will call you out if you happen to go the other way? That will be my question for now. Thank you.
My dear sister, thank you so much. I would like you, if you don't mind, to educate me on the rules and the regulations that guide the B movements, and so that I can know how to take on the question.
Oh, she dropped off. You can continue. You want to go ahead and answer first question about what made you leave PDP to go to Labour Party?
I contested to be governor in PDP. I marshaled out the reasons why I ought to be the candidate for PDP. I participated in the primaries. Others withdrew. I went to the primaries, and before the primaries, the popular view in Enugu State, I was the preferred candidate for PDP and for the people of Enugu State to take them to the next destination in every direction, in every dimension of leadership. There was a major intervention in the primary process, and the candidate who emerged was not the person the people of Enugu State preferred. And there was evidence that the primary process was monetized, the voting was regulated and monitored heavily by officers of the state, and the major candidate like myself was ambushed and assaulted in public. So the environment for that primary was not conducive to a proper primary, so called. And then I looked at it that the challenges, the reasons for my emergence initially, the reasons for my determination to run initially still remain valid. And when the Labour Party platform provided itself, when the platform was provided to me to run, to continue the battle for a new Enugu State, I had no reason not to contest. I had no reason not to contest under Labour. The platform is immaterial, really. What is important is the mission. What's important is the vision. What's important is the propelling the impulses that propel one to run for office. So whether you enter it through PDP in this case or Labour, the important thing is once you enter that office, what do you do with it? And those things I want to do have been carefully and openly canvassed. So if I ran in PDP and I was unjustly denied, and another platform offered itself, is there any reason why I should not run? I don't think it makes sense not to run because
So let me be more direct. There are questions people don't want to ask, and I'm going to put it straight to you. Okay, you said you were publicly berated. I know who, but I want to ask you, who berated you publicly during the primaries? Because yes,
And what were the circumstances? It's a very popular story, but we
I
need
know
a
the background
backstory.
story. I know we've heard the background story, but we would like to hear from you directly because there's one name that people have said you've not mentioned, and that name, I know what that name means. He has blocked me. So please, can you expand further on the primary process? Who berated you? Go ahead, sir.
I heard you say that you know the person. Why don't you tell the world what you know?
Oh, the shining light of the east.
Shining candle.
Shining candle. Basically, people want to know your relationship with Mr. Chimaroke and Amani. That's where a lot of the mistrust comes from. I'll just put it that way.
You
The
say
most
so.
murderous politician in Nigerian political history.
I will not comment on that. My life still means something to me.
Then you've commented.
There you have just commented, sir. Continue. Continue, sir.
So
you dare spirit with me, oh.
It's all right. So that's why I left. I didn't want to. The platform, it was fortuitous. It was an act of God that Labour platform was available, and I was the one they chose. I was the one they chose, really. I was the one they chose. Or the platform chose me, really. That's the fact. That platform, the Labour platform, chose me as the one
So,
who.
just to put on the record, you are not, as people say, you're not a stooge or of Mr. Chimaroke Namani. Is
A
that what
stooge?
we? Yeah, I
Stooge?
want to get on the record. I want to get that because a lot of people see that's what some of the obedient influencers are using to sort of demarket you. Is the
I'm
claim
a
that
stooge.
you are sort of planted by Mr. Chimaroke and Amani Labour Party, and I want to put that on the record, sir. Was Mr. Chimaroke and Amani involved in you going to Labour Party to run as governor, and do you have a relationship with him? I know you say you don't want to comment, but I just want to, because that's the only issue I think some Obedience have.
No. How can Chimaroke, when you saw that he publicly berated me?
Thank you.
Berated,
I wanted you to say, I wanted you to expand on how he berated you publicly
no, it's
because
not possible now.
you
It's not.
stepped down in primary.
There's no nexus. If it was in his hand to give, he wouldn't give me now. If he was first of all, he was unhappy that I was running in PDP. He was unhappy that I was poised to win in PDP, and he poured out his frustrations in the public, in the glare of everyone. So how can he now turn around and give me a platform, even if then it was not a major platform? People didn't know it was going to be a major platform. So I had no connection with him. I fought him all my political life. I was not part of a band or as people peddle. He was rising to power as I was rising to power on different platforms. He became governor in 1999. I went to the House of Reps in 1999. Actually, I was the one who helped him more than he helped me because I was already a chairman of council by 1997, and he was coming around asking me to support him. So by 1999, I was going to National Assembly. I was going to become governor. And throughout his governorship, I was not part of his government. I was in Abuja. So in 2003, I resigned from PDP and ran a UMPP against his people. And there was mayhem in Enugu State. There was no election. There was violence everywhere. People were killed in 2003. And he continued to govern. But most of that 2003 to 2007, I was not in Nigeria. I was abroad. So I was never part of Ebano, and I have spoken about Ebano in very negative terms, very derisive terms. I say that it's nothing. Ebano means nothing. Ebano is static. It has no philosophical undertone. It doesn't mean anything to me. So I have no relationship with Ebano, politically or ideologically. Occasionally we talk, myself and she had a cat and mouse relationship. Now we are friends. Now we are cat and mouse. But that's it. That is basically. He's not my patron. He's not my promoter. He has not done anything except to try to undermine me. But he has not succeeded, and he's not going to succeed.
Quick one, sir. Let me get this cleared once and for all. So you left PDP, and it wasn't as if you went to Labour Party. Labour Party approached you. Is that correct?
You can say that because
No.
after
I want us to be clear because people, the way it is, people think you left PDP and you just see the obedient movement is making a huge force and you just want to jump on that. So we have about over 1,000 people here, and each person I can see, prominent obedient members here. Some of them have 50,000 followers. Some of them 100,000+ followers. Every single thing you say here can be tweeted in a way that you get people that will vote for you. So we need to get this thing clear. These are allegations that were made against you. So we want to be certain that it's not as if you're jumping on the obedient movement. So you left PDP, but Labour Party approached you to come and run for the gubernatorial position. Is that correct?
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you?
Please go ahead, sir. Go ahead,
I'm
sir. Yes, sir.
not saying this thing to play anybody down or to make myself look too big, but actually, our presidential candidate himself called me. Immediately he emerged as presidential candidate of Labour. He put a call across to me that I should come and run in Labour, and I told him I was not ready then. Immediately I lost the PDP candidate because he is from a nearby state. P2B is from Anambra State. Enugu State has a large number of people of Anambra who live in Enugu, who know who is who in Enugu State, and they knew that the outcome of the PDP primary was rigged, that it was not popular, that was not acceptable to the major. So many of them put scores across. Many of them put calls across to be that this is a man like you. They told him that Chijioke Edeoga is a man like you, that is a winner, that is just a replica of you. He actually called me. I'm saying it's on record. I'm putting it out here on record. He actually called me and asked me to come and run in Labour. But then I was not ready. I was not prepared because I had just come out of a bruising battle in PDP and a disappointing one at that. So my family members, my brothers, my sisters, my immediate family was not ready for another gubernatorial run. And I needed to consult. I needed to assimilate really what's happened and reflect before I moved on. So it took me a clear 1 month plus to decide to accept to run in the Labour Party. And before then, the state chairman of the party, Kasmir Abo, had become the candidate or the flag bearer. And he said clearly to everyone that he was going to surrender that ticket only to Chijioke Edeoga. 1 month, 15 days after the PDP primary, after Kasmir had become the flag bearer of Labour Party, I accepted to run in Labour. And the chairman of the Labour Party, Kasmir Abo, a lawyer, about my age, put it in writing that he was relinquishing that ticket only to Chijioke Edeoga. So if it's like jumping onto the bandwagon, I don't know how you can jump onto a bandwagon in almost 2 months. I didn't jump onto the wagon.
Sir, say no more. Say no more. Obedience, I don't hear. Peter Obi don't say LP top to bottom.
Chicken, I want to ask you a question, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
This question in particular is for the youth of Enugu, but 2 problems. 1, Yahoo has been glorified in Enugu almost to the state of an occupation. From university to secondary school and even post-university, advanced free fraud has a free day in Enugu State. 1. That's for the young boys. For the young ladies, I dare say, without fear of favor and shame, that prostitution was on the rise in Enugu when I was there in the early 2000s. And from my recent travels there, it is still rather high. This is a state that, from the entertainment industry to a lot of other things, women could be kept, how do I put it? A lot of employment could be done to keep these young people in Enugu employed. There are a lot of vices that seem to have taken root in Enugu, also cultism and the rest of them. What is your direct plan for a demographic of, I would say, between 17 years of age and 25, especially with keeping them busy and also taking them away from vices, and last but not least, drugs? And drug abuse is also, I think, the 4th cousin of this entire system that seems to be engulfing Enugu youth between 16 and about 25 years of age. How would you be tackling all of this? I'm sorry if I didn't put the question well. I hope you understand what I mean.
You put it well.
More or less social vices and their hold on the young, especially drugs, fraud, and the rest.
You put it well. It just boils down to unemployment. It just boils down to unemployment. The other aspects of our orientation, family values, even if you look at drug issue, you just have to go to the fact that people are just bored. bored, and those who ought to be busy are not kept busy. And I've said that we're going to, and I'm worried about it. I worry about it. I look at the young girls, many of them, the parents are not at work, they're not at work. So how do they even take care of themselves? How do they even take care of themselves? How do they even take care of themselves? So we are going to completely look at the things that we have to do immediately to create employment. We are going to tackle unemployment from various dimensions. We are going to make sure that we have, I've said it before here, that we have electricity. Electricity is a major driver of employment or unemployment. If we have electricity more than we have now, several businesses will thrive. We also have had what we call deindustrialization of Enugu State, arising from the absolute lack of empathy of leadership. Companies are moving, Innocent and many other ones are moving away from Enugu because the governments multiply taxes, multiplication of taxes. We also have had governments or governors who are indifferent, in fact, hostile to new businesses coming up. There want several people who have indicated interest to establish industries here are rebuffed directly or indirectly. You rebuff somebody who wants to establish a business when you want ask that person to give you money. Instead of providing the money or providing the land or the enabling environment, you rebuff him by saying that his person should give you money first of all. Or make personalizing governance. I've had a relation who wanted to build a big hospital here, and because they thought that that patient should not become rich in his community, that person was stopped. So we're going to create an environment that welcomes business. We're going to create an environment that reduces the taxation that people pay in order to do businesses here. We're going to create an enabling environment to make apprentices work again. The apprenticeship system is being destroyed, especially in Enugu State. We're also going to make orientation. No, governors don't even communicate again. Communication, a leader is a teacher. So continuously, when I become governor, I'm going to engage with people. I'm also going to live by example. If a governor is rides a convoy of 30 or 40 cars, all of them huge armadas, what are you communicating to people about the values of asceticism or being delicate or careful with how the public perceives you? So we're going to make sure that parsimony or the values of being careful with money, being accountable, being worried about the sources of money you have. So when you create employment, when you divert the youth from being bored, light up the environment, bring in Nollywood. So we will try to multiply the options, revive existing infrastructure for businesses like Hotel Presidential, create new ones around agriculture, make agriculture work and make the value chain work. We are going to minimize the things that make people not not disengage them from boredom and from vices. We're also going to use the radio to teach about value orientation. But those who must get into drugs, even in Enugu State, there's not one single institution that is involved in drug rehabilitation of youth who fall by the wayside. So if we're also going to help with institutions that help to bring back to reasonableness those who become addicts. So we are going to also help to reduce working in concert with NDLE or other such agencies, make sure that there's the demand reduction. And when those who become ill inevitably, there'll be a place to rehabilitate them and put them back to reasonable engagement. We're also going to mentor the youth. We are going to revive the apprenticeship system, which is dying now. We're also going to make glamorized work money without wealth without work is sin. People don't even know that one again. So we're going to glamorize the one, make models of those who really work hard for their money, and then make sure that youth gradually are oriented towards hard work, towards a life of hard work, not a life of ease with that money and that employment positions are created. But we can do that gradually, as I've said, by for instance, providing lighting up the Enugu has become dark and sober. So even nightlife or night business don't even thrive again. By 6 o'clock, everywhere is closed. We are going to take our communities one after the other at New Haven, Transekulu, Achari out. We are going to gradually light up those places so that businesses can thrive on 24/7 basis. If people are fully engaged, and drug addiction, cultism will reduce. It's a big job, but I think we'll just do it gradually.
Thank you, sir. So I just want to come here because I'm getting feedback from your team that you want to leave the platform soon. But I really think we have a whole lot of people that want to engage you.
I've been asking them questions from my DMs, so
yeah, I want to put it up to you, sir, that I for everything you have said here today, I will say you have not done well when it comes to your social media handling. You have not been visible on social media, and of which is very, 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 very bad. Knowing the generation we are in right now, a whole lot of narrative have been sold against you on the social media. I just found out today that you set up a number of labor structures across the state. And it is painful when you know that there is someone like we have labor, we have someone like you that have done some kind of work, and our fellow obedience are selling other candidates. And I don't blame them because you have not been visible. If you have been visible on the social media, I don't think all these narratives have been pushed. We're at the point of damage control, and I honestly thank God that this election has been pushed by a week for your sake. For any other candidate, I think for your sake, you should also go and pray and thank God also, because I think this was done for you, because the narrative on social media, I was almost convinced not to even talk about you.
Sirdam, Sirdam, I swear to God, sir, I wish you knew the image I had about you and the way
Very bad image.
correct.
Archbishop, God bless
The
you
way
for
you
that.
corrected so many, and even a lot of obedience are telling me this also. And I just want to ask if there's a way we can support your campaign. Please let us know. I know we're a lot of us here in diaspora. There are a lot of people from Enugu diaspora also. If there's areas of your campaign where you need help, I don't know. I think we can communicate and find time. I know Mag is here. Mag spends a lot of time helping people. Whatever we can do to support you, whatever little we can do to support your marriage. Because, sir, I won't lie to you. Listening to you for the past 2 hours it's just going to happen to the River State candidate, and it's bad. Like, people paint a completely different picture of the person, and then the person starts to talk, and you're like, is this so, sir? I won't lie, I'm impressed. Some of your answers need work, but so far, sir, you're as competent as any governorship candidate you can push. Forget someone that I know, one of them speaks good English, but it's not by English, so it's not by speaking for now. So I appreciate you. You're a great communicator. You know how to explain things as simple as you can. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. So please, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to schedule on that space. Your people are disturbing me in the background, saying that you come back again. I don't know. I think if it is possible, I don't know your schedule, but if you can have more spaces, you should be able to talk to your people. Enugu people are in my DMs. They're in the comment section. We have over 65 of them requesting for the mic. They want to ask you questions, but I don't want to go beyond the limit of the time we agreed. So I don't know if you're going to schedule on that space. We on the platform, we're always open for you. You can always say you want to have on that space with us. I think you should spend ample time on social media. You don't have a social media presence. That is a fact. So please work on your social media presence so that you can come out and say this. What you're saying right now, man, I'm sold out already, But please, enough of your people want to ask you questions. Please look into that and get back to us. But I will allow 3 more questions before I allow you go, sir. I don't know if that's okay with you. We can allow 3 more.
Go ahead.
All right, please. I'll come. Mark, your hands are up, but let me take I don't know, Mark, if you want to come in and have a question right now. Let us take the 3 questions back to back, please. MFU Live. Okay, Mark, go on.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you so much, Sirdam, Sizzle, and Otumba. Um, Mr. Chijioke, thank you for being here. All protocol duly observed. I just want to say this real quick. Exactly what I wanted to say. Uh, Saddam just said it out of my mouth. You do not have social media presence. I'll tell you for a fact. Look for Ejikeme and thank him very well. Ejikeme is one person that has been pushing and pushing and pushing your case. He brought your case to us like we were like literally not even concerned about Enugu State. Ejikeme was insisting and insisting and insisting. Look, I have tons of the pictures that I mean, about you and the things you did in Enugu State. We don't even know. So look for Ejikeme.
Request Ejikeme to come up. Can Ejikeme request for the mic?
Ejikeme, please.
Can Ejikeme request for the mic?
Ejikeme, please, if you hear request for the mic, please. I know you
Yeah,
can hear
please,
us.
you need to buy him lunch or something. If not Ejikeme, trust me, I don't even know what to tell you. But let me tell you this, sir. You will win this election now and moving forward. You just need to be present. You need to be present. Whatever is done here, everything you do here transcends down to all the polling units in Enugu. Believe you me, people carry it from Twitter. The best thing that happened to this dispensation is this Twitter spaces. If you don't believe me, I will tell you for a fact. I was in Nigeria, I was in Abuja, I was listening to Vawulence space in a boat that I entered. I was listening to my own space in Port Harcourt in a boat. I'm not kidding you. So please don't underrate Twitter spaces. I will tell you, you need to be present. Make sure you understand when the lady said the obedient rules and regulation, she does not she's not telling you that there are set down rules. She simply wants you to understand that if you don't perform, they will disrespect you, they will insult you, and there is nothing you can do because they will remove you. So you have to be ready to deal with them, to tolerate them, and to explain yourself at all times. That's all what she meant. If you want me to break it down for you, that is it. So please, sir, be patient. Be patient and be patient with the obedient movement. They will make you or they will break you. They are stingy with their vote. They will not vote any other party. I'm telling you that for free. You will win this election. But what will come with it, be ready. It's either good or bad. We're as blunt and as straightforward as that. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your day and please let's see more of you on social
I
media.
want to
Thank you.
ask Mr. Edeoga, I want to ask you a question that will literally take 30 seconds. A follower called Ken said, in terms of security in Enugu State on the said election, what is your plan for the indigenes coming out to vote for you and for Labour Party? and your legal process to ensure that INEC, especially INEC Enugu, acts accordingly. Is that a question you can answer in 1 minute, please?
I didn't hear. INEC did what? INEC did
One more time, the question is, in terms of security in Enugu State on the said election, what are your plans for the indigents coming out to vote for Labour Party and for you? And then what are your legal plans to ensure that INEC Enugu acts accordingly on the day as well?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are you hearing me? Hello?
I can hear you perfectly, sir. That's our
Okay.
last question for
What we
today, and
have
with that,
done,
you can sign
what
out.
we've done with regards to security is to engage the security, the formal security establishment of Nigeria. I've had meaningful discussions with the director of SSS. I've had meaningful discussions with the commissioner of police. I've had meaningful discussions with the GOC, Chinade of the Nigerian Army, 82 Division. I've had meaningful discussions with the director of military intelligence, and they have assured me, they have given me their words of, even the civil defense director I've spoken to, and they have given me their words of honor that the security coverage of Enugu will be comprehensive, and that everything that needs to be done will be done to make sure that citizens are protected and they will cast their votes in peace and the processes will be protected. They have given me the assurance that they recommended about a peaceful election and they have guaranteed a peaceful election. I've also educated our people information on what to do to make sure that INEC does what it ought to do. Results must be uploaded at the polling unit. Results must be uploaded at polling units. Results must be collated at the collection centers. Result sheets must be made available at the polling units, and they should follow. They cast their votes and wait. Votes are counted and announced. Result sheets given to the agents. They follow it from polling units to the collection centers. Results are counted. If there's no light at the collection centers, they should provide light. Small generator, better pass your neighbor, energy bulbs, energy lights should be provided. Results must be counted and collated at the collection centers and announced. From there, I'm urging all people of Enugu State to follow the results to the LGA offices, to the local government headquarters of INEC, and make sure that the results are announced. I also have urged our citizens. I've addressed several caucuses of LP stakeholders and normal citizens in about 7 local governments in the past 2 days, and I've told all of them that I appeal to the people of Enugu State to follow the results to the state capital, to the INEC headquarters in Enugu. Stay around, form a human shield, form a human environment to wait, keep vigil until the results are announced. Miles around INEC, waiting and hoping to get the right thing. INEC compelled to do the right thing. So I'm asking for citizen engagement from beginning to the end until the results are announced. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chijioke, sorry. Please, I want to confirm, please, can we have you on another space because we want to, your people are disturbing me that you have to go now. So are we going to have another space with you? Enugu people want to talk to you.
When do you want me back?
We have a space on
I don't want
Saturday.
to. We have a Saturday. Even if you do a special space, I'm so and sir, please.
Yeah, if we can have a special one-on-one space with
Also,
you.
sir, please, I don't mind. We
When?
can recommend obedience in Enugu for you. Someone
Enugu,
that's physically present with you that can manage your social media and be integrated into your campaign directly. Because, yes, so that would be very helpful.
Otumba, we have them here. Unwa is here. I think I've been the 3 people that or 4 people that have been seeing their tweets about Mr.
No, Saddam, no,
Chijioke.
it would be nice if they can move around with him. Like, remember when we complained to
Yes,
Pew,
work with him. Yeah,
he had
education should
to
be
move
able to do
around with
that.
him. And then they can project, because man, it's a far cry from what we heard. It's a complete 360 degrees. So please, sir, that's very important. Go ahead.
All right, sir. Please, I think I will talk with you on the background. Probably we'll fix Saturday. Our Saturday space, we can have that if you're free on Saturday. I don't know your schedule on Saturday, but we have our space from 4 p.m. Saturday, so we can have that Saturday space. It could be a very long. You can spend ample time with your Enugu people here, because you really need to shape the narrative on social media. I don't know the amount of work you've done on the grassroots, but I can see from the work, from what you have posted there, you have done a whole lot of work on the grassroots. So I think your online persona is something that you really need to address, and as fast as possible. So a whole lot of Nigerians in diaspora, Enugu indigenous in diaspora are on this platform. They want to talk to you. These are people that sponsor, that donate. I have a woman that I know. She's here on this platform. She has questions for you. She single-handedly funded Nsukka local government, all our matches. We have them on this platform. They want to do things. They want to hear you speak. So I really want, if you can have that Saturday space, if it's Saturday, we'll schedule our Saturday space and say, let's have a one-on-one with you on Saturday, so we can also go out and bring in more people here that have not heard you speak this night. And also, you come out that day and talk to your people, hear your people. I don't know if that's good with you, sir. But go on. Your network is breaking, sir.
I'll be available for Saturday. Actually, would have continued, but a senior member of my party came here to take me to the meeting. Are you there?
I'm here, sir. Go on.
There are 260 wards in Enugu State, 260 electoral wards. I have done more than 240 wards and visited more than 240 wards in Enugu State. And each place I went, I planted Labour Party. So we have done.
We've seen pictures and videos, yes, but we didn't know that.
Those pictures are a far cry of what I've done. Where we actually have done more than any video can show. We have done more. I have personally gone to more than 240 wards in Enugu State and planting Labour Party, creating the structure for Labour Party, making the Labour Party the winning machine that it has become, bringing candidates, candidates who have won the elections and who will win the elections next week. So it's true that I've not been on social media. Self-effacement is one of the things you have to suffer when you are my kind of person, not projecting yourself. But I appreciate the space they have given me. I appreciate it tremendously. But the important thing is that enormous amount of work has been done.
All right, sir. Thank you. We'll fix that Saturday space. We'll talk to you at the background because. You're cracking, sir. We're losing you. We are losing you. I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can.
I'll be on Saturday.
All
On
right,
Saturday, my team will arrange it. Your people will arrange it.
All right, HK, talk to your governor. Let HK unmute and speak, please. So I want you to. I don't know if you know HK personally, but HK has been one force. I have to shout out to these guys, HK, Unwa and Mbadike and Big Joe. Yeah, you guys have been at the forefront of pushing. They have been at the forefront of pushing your campaign on social media. These guys have been. I don't know, but HK, you can say something.
Sirdam, and let me also mention this person, Dr. Edeoga. Go and look for Dr. Edeoga as well. He has done outreaches all over.
Then Chidube Mobare good too. Chidube, I can't pronounce his name.
We'll give all those guys
There,
their flowers on Saturday, but right
yeah,
now
that
let's
they've been pushing your candidacy, and I'm glad we finally got to hear from you.
all right, Chijioke, AGK, can you go on, please?
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. I really want to appreciate you, Sirdam, for this platform. It's not, I, you know, a lot of narrative, a lot of wrong narratives has been spread, and I just needed him to come here and, put off all these things. At least people have listened to him speak. It's not like he's a social media shy, but PDP is rooted in Enugu State. A lot of work needs to be done. A lot, like he said, now he's leaving for a meeting again this night. Like you can imagine, what is the time? It's almost 11, and he's leaving for a meeting. This is what he does every day, no time. We want to take out, we want to grab Enugu out of PDP, back from PDP. So we need this thing. We need this thing to happen. And you can also, tomorrow, Kenneth Okonkwo will be on NTA. You understand? He'll be on NTA. He's going to be there to also debunk some of the nonsense that has been said. You understand? People who are not even from Enugu State would come up on social media and tell us what to do. Like, I just begin to wonder, these same people, when elections are happening in their state, they don't speak, but they want to speak for a state like Enugu State. That is why I've stood up and I've said, no, this thing cannot happen. Focus on your state. Focus on your state. You cannot be coming on social media and be pushing people in Enugu State. These are same people who push Soludo. Soludo is there now. Soludo is your governor, and you are coming to push another person for another state. What have you done about your own state? Seriously, I get mad at all this, but it's election season. Everybody just do what they do. People where they cash out, they cash out. But I just want to thank you very much, Sirdam. Like he said, on Saturday, he's going to be back. You understand? He doesn't run from this kind of engagement. You understand? So on Saturday, he's going to be back. So what is going to happen is I'm going to talk with him. Then we'll know the timing. So I'm going to relate the time to you so we know when it's going to be on a Saturday. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Sizzle, I see you. Otumba, Mukinyo, thank you very, very much. Magnific, I agree to my hand for it. Sweet Angel, Mbadike, thank you very, very much. God bless you all. We'll do this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Nice work, Jerry. Nice work. I think a big shout out to our guy himself. What is his name again, Seth? When they come here, Eze Nabdi, yes, Eze Nabdi.
Yes, I missed it.
Eze Nabdi also put the man on the map. So, guys, you heard from the gubernatorial candidate. On Saturday, we'll be back here. Sorry for everyone that could not come up to speak or ask questions. I think we'll take reactions right now and prepare ourselves for Saturday. I honestly, for myself, I have always wanted LP all the way, but at times you get to hear different perspective of different people, and you'll be wondering. That's why the Tuesday space we had was: is it LP or competence? That was the question I asked on Tuesday, and people came up here and were asking me, "Sir, why should you say that? Why should you say that? You should be LP all the way." And I'm not. I don't want to. I would not want to have a Tinubu on the ticket I don't want to defend. I don't want to come up here and defend a Tinubu that's in LP. But if I have a competent, a competent Peter Obi across all board, and probably you now, you have your own competent candidate, but he's not in Labour Party. It's not a battle of my own candidate. I'm going to go all the way for my candidate. This man has spoken right now, and you cannot tell me he's not a competent person. If you have any other thing against the man, I can understand. But for competence, for eloquence, for character, for track record, the man has it. So
For
what
non of his state, to be
part of
honest.
the state? Yeah.
Not even that. He told us to go and check his record for when he was chairman of his local government. So there's an aspect of, you know what, go and dig out things from when he was chairman of
No,
his local
after that,
government.
say after that Jimmy's tension in anybody will feel continue without his voice shaking. Now man wey be Jimmy tell us say I will go and check the man. If to say maybe inside that 4 schools where he talk 3 na lamba, he go just tell Jimmy say sir, there is one that I didn't really graduate from. I just went there and did a course. So after that Jimmy will say the man still continue. I say this man is legit because hey God. You know, say as Jimmy said, I will search you, sir. I will those schools that you called, I will be digging into them. And me wey no even be the man, we no even be the man PA. I don't nearly piece for cloth for her. Say God, I beg you.
I dey check my certificate. Say Jimmy no go do. Jimmy no go check. I will just go and go.
Well, through 3 graduate. Honestly,
Hello,
but
Otumba. Hello, Otumba. Good evening.
Yeah,
Hello,
good
good
day, go
evening.
ahead.
No,
Go
make
ahead,
Good
I
evening,
go
sir.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
This is Chidubem
some
Obaregu.
Enugu people don't vex. So calm down,
Wait,
Enugu people. That's
let's
what
go
I
to
do
the
now.
debate,
One
then
for
we'll
there. Calm down.
go.
Good evening.
Like,
No, Saddam, all the
I just
questions I
want
was
to,
asking was mostly from my DM from Enugu people. So it's not like I was
yes.
making them up. A
leave
lot of
them
them
up here now.
Even
You
me
don't see
too.
the
share
two
my
of them.
DM,
Two of
yeah.
them they drag mic already. Two of them don't agree.
Okay,
You know,
wait.
we told them that if you cannot get the mic, you unless you want to hear your voice speak. If you cannot get the mic, send in your questions. So a lot of Enugu, especially the youth, if you notice the kind of questions I was asking, some might even sound funny, but I was asking straight from the DM. So next time, I think Otumba said it, that is a more serious way. Unless now your voice you really just want to hear, you understand. But if you really want your question to get across, send a DM across to us or ask it in the comment section, and we will be asking the questions. Thank you.
Right, let's take reactions. Otuma, go on.
Then you go to Emetu Life and then.
Otuma, you're fading off.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go on, bro.
Yeah, so we'll go to Emetu Life, then from there we'll go to Chidubem, and then we'll go to Mr. Emekane. You didn't get to ask your questions, but just want to take reactions. Emetu Life, sir, go ahead. You have the space.
Just like you guys were saying, me, first time I was not even supporting the Edeoga of 18, but it was just last week or last month that I came across AGK and I saw what the man was doing, and I had to schedule and find out to listen to him on radio. And all this thing he has said, he has continued to say all of them. And his relationship with Chimaroke, he has still continued to state the fact on how it was. So it's not proper that people will come and be telling you that he has paid you. That's why he's supporting you. You can see I just changed my profile about him just recently. So it's always good to hear from the both sides before we conclude. So the man, he needs to do more about social media. Based on us in Enugu, even right from when we started the 1 million match, he has been doing billboard, all of them. Even when the case he had with Udengen, Captain Udengen, I was so angry, and I was even asking my captain, our own group, that this man has invested a lot. Maybe he's not that strong in social media, but if you are in Enugu, as we are in Enugu, the man has done a lot for them just to come that time and say the ticket has been taken away from him. Me, I was even crying when I heard that news that time. So my own question I wanted to ask him, maybe it will be on that Saturday, because it's mainly on the market. In our market in Enugu, the present governor is just taking away everywhere, anywhere that he saw space, he would take without creating more places that people will stay. Just like Obete has remained as Obete has been. You are not building
No
more
lie,
places.
they never improve Ogbete since then.